Yo everyone, today on All Out Brick, we're going to be taking a look at the Piraka. We're going to build the sets, review them, and then give out a score. Let's get started. Hey everyone, I'm Christian from All Out Brick. Welcome to another Matoran Nui Monday. As always, the best way to tag along with us every week is to subscribe and turn on notifications. This week, we're going to be building the Piraka, which were released as a part of the 2006 line of Bionicle and served as the main villain group for the Voya Nui adventures. The Piraka went ashore Voya Nui with one goal in mind: finding the Mask of Life. They tricked the Matoran into believing that they were Toa sent to save the island, which allowed them to have complete control over the Matoran of Voya Nui. They were terrible teammates and often ended up in fights with each other, but nonetheless, they got quite close to achieving their goal. Taking a look at the packaging, we have a pretty muted canister look here. It's a dark gray, not a whole lot of bold colors to it. The front labels have the Piraka in different action poses and have the different color themes that match the same kind of box art style that we saw with the Matoran of Voya Nui. The top of the canister has a pretty cool feature that we haven't seen before. There are light up eyes for the Piraka, and if you press the button on the top of the canister, it lights the eyes up. And on the back of the canister, we have a nice image of the Piraka that comes inside. It shows some different movements that the Piraka can perform, as well as some of the features such as the teeth glowing in the dark and the eyes lighting up. Alright, so here we have one of the sealed Piraka. We're going to open him up. So basically it looks like there's just two spots here on the canisters that you cut open. I just like to use a brick separator for that. Just gonna slice right through one side. And the other side. We're going to twist this off. Alright, so we see in the bottom, that's where our eyepiece is. In this lid, we'll get that out later. We've got just a bundle of pieces. Watch out, the Zamor spheres going all over the place. And then we got some instructions. Anything on the inside? Oh, well, it shows you how to get the eyes out, so that's nice. On the back, some advertisements for Bionicle, the Web of Shadows. That was from 2005. Some advertisements. And then a Voya Nui graphic. So nothing too crazy with the instructions. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're getting like those renders like we used to. But hey, we get a bundle of pieces and the instructions, and then we have the eyes that come out of the top of the canister. The Piraka really present us a different type of villain than we've seen before. They kind of emulate the Toa, of course, and they trick the Matoran into that as well. So I'm excited to see what these guys got going for themselves. Let's go ahead and knock out the base model builds. 35 minutes later, we've completed the Piraka. Obviously, they really give us this brand new impression of a villain, kind of like this Toa feel. I think the closest thing to them would probably be the Rockshi from 2003, but boy do I like this type of villain. I just think the organic part to it, like it's obviously looking like a Toa or like a human-like figure, and it just creates this different type of imposing villain. I think they look great. I mean, they're a little bit restricted with their articulation, which I'll touch on a little bit later, but their look is pretty dang good. I like the different color balances. We got some cool sand colors throughout these models, or some bright, vibrant colors and other ones. Really nice job with the color design and the overall design. I think the new molds, if you remember from last week, the Matoran of Voya Nui, I had a massive issue when it came to the fact that they gave us no new molds. It just didn't feel like we were on a new island. It felt like we were still on Metro Nui, but the Piraka, they completely fixed that. Almost all of their pieces are new molds, and immediately upon looking at them, I can look at them and say, we're at a new island. That's all you want from the brand new sets from the brand new island. Well, that's not all you want, but that's just a good component to it. I mean, we clearly have these brand new villains and just the completely new vibe of Voya Nui, this like grungy, run down type of island, and I really like what they've done here, the different mold designs. The main function with the Piraka are the Zamorsphere launchers. These are pretty cool. I mean, they're forceful. You just push this little rod into the back of the sphere and it goes flying out, and each of the Piraka come with 4 of them, so you could just reload if you wanted to, if you had them like in your hand or like your pocket or something. The problem with the Zamorspheres is they roll all over the place. I mean, I literally lost one while I was building a Piraka. It rolled off somewhere in this room. I'll find it another time. But they're definitely very easy to lose, but they definitely make for a pretty fun play function. I mean, they could definitely do some damage. With the Rotuka spinners from 2005, I didn't like how they like kind of just like hit their target. These things will damage their target. I mean, if you shot these at like one of the 2001 Doa or Matoran, it's going to send the mask like flying off. And man, that to me is just a fun play function. The other main feature with the Piraka is that the eyes can light up like we saw on the packaging. This works pretty well. I mean, I think it ages really poorly. The batteries aren't replaceable from as far as I can tell, and some of them are dead because, it's 15 years later, so some of them are going to be dead. That's just an unfortunate part of it because that doesn't work anymore and there's nothing you can really do about it. The glow-in-the-dark teeth are okay. I mean, they're a cool little gimmick. I don't see how often you're going to use them, but they definitely create a menacing look. Like if your eyes work and you have the teeth glowing in the dark, it's a pretty cool look if you ask me. One of the rough parts of the Piraka has got to be like one of their best parts as well, and that's the spines. The spines create this super unique look and is obviously the trademark of all of these Piraka sets is the spine that comes with them. Problem with the spines is that it really limits the articulation. It's a rubber piece that doesn't have a whole lot of give and gets twisted on itself and just wants to go back to its natural shape. So you really have a tough time trying to pose the models or leave them in a certain pose because the rubber spine just wants to go back to the position it was in. I don't want to say it's a mess, but it's frustrating. I think I would have preferred a different kind of concept here, like maybe like the rubber head would have been cool and then maybe like some different spine assembly, but what they came up with here is just a little bit too restrictive on the articulation if you ask me. The only other big thing about these base models that I feel like I need to comment on is that I think we could have gotten some better colors here. When you look at like the chest armor and the weapon colors, there's only 3 of them and then 6 Piraka sets, so it's just a little bit bland. Like when you look at, say, like Zoctan and Redoc, they look very similar, those pieces, and the chest pieces are identical all throughout. So, I mean, I would have preferred if we got like a little bit more uniqueness between the different models, or like a different metallized colored chest would have been really cool, or just some different type of things. I mean, there's 2 Piraka here. I mean, it was Thok, and I think it was Hakan that have these little accents in their weapons that would have been nice to have all throughout the board to create a little bit more of a boost. I don't know why they only chose to do it for 2, but I think we could have used a little bit more uniqueness in the armor and then that weapon piece. I think if you change that up a little bit, these are going to get to another tier of sets. The Piraka do include 3 combination models. Each of them have 2 Piraka, and they're included in the instructions to the Piraka. I mean, I have pretty low expectations just on the preview images we saw of them, but hey, you never know. Sometimes we get surprised. Let's go ahead, break these ones down, base models, and then we'll build those 3 combination models and review them. Let's get to it. Okay, I just finished up the Piraka combination model builds. This was 30 minutes, so a little bit quicker than what we had for the base model builds, but not tremendously quicker. They're still pretty long models. I think they're okay. They really don't do anything special for me. I mean, yeah, they have their individual lures, and you can go deeper into that, but I think they give some cool options. There's not a whole lot of different assemblies going on here. For the most part, they are pretty much built the same, just set up in different ways. Like the legs are attached in different ways, and maybe the arms are attached in different ways, and different pieces are used to attach the Zamorsphere launchers. And that's kind of as far as you're going to get with these. But other than that, I mean, they don't bring a whole lot new to the table. I mean, I wouldn't combine 2 Piraka. Like, there is absolutely no way that any of these is better than a single one of the Piraka sets. We don't even get the spine, which is like the most iconic piece in 2 of the combinations. So, look, I I don't really recommend building these combination models unless you're like looking for like a unique setup. Yeah, you could probably do it with one of these. I just don't think they're going to give you a whole lot. I would much rather have the 6 Piraka, and then, well, there's a 7th one. We'll get into it later. The 6th Piraka from 2006 over any. I mean, I honestly, any 2 over one of these combination models. They just don't do a whole lot for me, but, good to get together and build them. Overall, the Piraka, much better introductions to Voya Nui than the Matoran of Voya Nui were. Not even a close comparison. These were awesome. It finally felt like we're on this brand new island. We got brand new piece molds, new functions, mechanisms, and all this new stuff that we've never seen before in Bionicle. So they did a great job of now establishing Voya Nui. There were some downsides to them, though, and we didn't skirt around them. Pretty restrictive on the articulation. I wish there was a little bit more uniqueness from model to model for those chest pieces and those weapon pieces. And I just think we could have gone a little bit better. Like, they're not the best, but I am really happy of how they laid down the overall mood for Voya Nui going forwards. I really like it. The rubberized pieces are great. The light up eyes work pretty cool as long as they're still working, and that's kind of the only thing I really have to say of, do you go brand new or do you go used? If you're looking to get them in used condition, you're going to pay about $15 US for a Piraka right now. If you want to go in brand new sealed condition, it gets a little spotty. You could be paying anywhere from like $50 to $60 US all the way up to $100 US. Is kind of like, it's hit or miss. Like, it's either $60 or $100. It's not really like they're spread out in between. So, I mean, basically that's just guaranteeing you're going to get those great eyes, and they're probably going to light up still because they haven't been used a whole lot. That battery should still be fresh. If you buy them in used condition, it's probably going to be a little faded. Like, even the used ones that I have here, the ones that are used, the light in the eyes is not super bright. Like, if it does light up, it's pretty dull. So if you really are looking for the eyes to work great, you're going to have to go brand new sealed. I'm sorry for your wallets, but that's just the way it is if you want that to work. The glow-in-the-dark teeth, I had no problems with any of these models. Unfortunately, the lighting just didn't work right in here. I couldn't get a great shot of the glow-in-the-dark to show up right on the camera, but it looks okay. It's not the greatest thing in the world. In terms of a score, I'm going to give the Piraka a 7.4. I feel like I would recommend them to you. I just don't see them as like the super high priority thing. Like, definitely go knock out some of the better sets before you come to these. They do make for some pretty cool villains, and of course we're going to get to the Toa and Nika next week, so we'll see how they compare with that. But I really like what they did here of laying down Voya Nui and introducing us to this brand new island that we were waiting on, because the Matoran of Voya Nui didn't do jack squat to try to do that. They have some cool mechanisms built in as well that, it's really fresh. It's kind of similar to what we've gotten with shooting stuff, but it's this brand new concept, and as long as you don't lose them, make sure you keep your extra ones around. As long as you don't lose them, you're going to have a ton of fun knocking people down, or Bionicles, not people. You ain't knocking down a person with this. You'll knock down a Bionicle, though. But anyways, there's your review, 7.4. If you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to be the first to see all of our future content. Also, be sure to check us out on our website and on our Facebook and Instagram pages. Until next time, stay bricking.